Hello! I want to tell you today about Christmas. Christmas has its roots in pagan festivals such as Saturnalia, which ran from about December the 17th to the 23rd, the Calends from January the 1st to 5th, which was the precursor to the 12 days of Christmas, and Deus Sol Invictus, or the birth of the unconquerable sun, which was on December the 25th. These were obviously in the old calendar. The Christian Church heartily disapproved of such celebrations, and in AD 350 Pope Julius co-opted the pagans by declaring December the 25th as Christ's day of birth. Though there's no evidence that Jesus was born on that day. In fact, if shepherds were watching their flocks at the time and lambs were in the fields, then it was likely springtime, even in the Middle East. Many European countries believed that spirits, both good and evil, were active during the 12 days of Christmas, and these spirits eventually evolved into Santa's elves, especially under the influence of Clement Moore's The Night Before Christmas. Dave Barry said, "Once again we come to the holiday season, a deeply religious time that each of us observes in his own way by going to the shopping mall of his choice." Halloween isn't the only time for ghosts and ghost stories. In Victorian Britain, spooky winter's tales were part of the Christmas season, often told after dinner over port or coffee. The whole Christmas story in the Bible was probably a later addition to the Gospel narratives, presented only by the authors of Matthew and Luke. Mark and John seem never to have heard of the manger in Bethlehem, the massacre of the innocents, the hovering star, the three wise men, and so forth. Three men die on Christmas Eve and go to heaven, where they're met by St. Peter. In order to get in, he tells them, you must each produce something representative of the holidays. The first man digs into his pockets, pulls out a match and lights it, and he says this represents a candle of hope. Impressed, Peter lets him in. The second man pulls out a tangle of keys and jangles them. He says, these are sleigh bells. He's allowed in too. So, Peter says to the third man, what do you have? The third man proudly pulls out some red lacy lingerie from his pocket. What have these got to do with Christmas? Asks Peter. They're carols. Johnny Carson's advice was to mail your packages early, so the post office can lose them in time for Christmas. Most of Santa's reindeer have male-sounding names such as Blitzen, Comet and Cupid. However, male reindeers shed their antlers around Christmas, so the reindeer pulling Santa's sleigh are likely not male, but either female or castrated. Jay Leno once said, the Supreme Court has ruled that they cannot have a nativity scene in Washington DC. And this wasn't for any religious reasons, they just couldn't find three wise men and a virgin. 3 buildings in town were overrun by squirrels: the town hall, the hardware store and the church. The town hall brought in some cats, but after they tore up all the files, the mayor got rid of the predators and soon the squirrels were back. The hardware store humanely trapped the squirrels and set them free outside town, and 3 days later the squirrels worked their way back in. Only the church came up with an effective solution. They baptised the squirrels and made them members, and now they only see them on Christmas and Easter. Phyllis Diller said, what I don't like about office Christmas parties is looking for a job the next day. Ancient peoples such as the Druids considered mistletoe sacred because it remains green and bears fruit during the winter when all other plants appear to die. Druids would cut the plant with golden sickles and never let it touch the ground. They thought it had the power to cure infertility and nervous diseases and ward off evil. The word mistletoe comes from an Anglo-Saxon word meaning little dung twig because the plant spreads through bird droppings. Lloyd Kaufman said, in our racist, sexist society, Christmas is the 8 hours when we stop killing each other and gratuitous overeating is encouraged so that the starving and other people in the world can die. Bit bleak. Santa Claus is based on a real person. St. Nicholas of Myra, also known as Nikolaos the Wonder Worker, Bishop St. Nicholas of Smyrna, Nikolaos of Bari, who lived during the 4th century. Born in Patara in modern-day Turkey, he's the world's most popular non-biblical saint. And artists have portrayed him more than any other saint except Mary. Santa is the patron saint of banking, pawnbroking, pirating, butchery, sailing, thievery, orphans, royalty and New York City. The Viking god Odin is one suggested precursor to the modern Santa Claus. According to myth, Odin rode his flying horse Sleipnir, a precursor to Santa's reindeer, who had 8 legs. In the winter, Odin gave out gifts and punishments, and children would fill their boots or stockings with treats for Sleipnir. A little poem by Wendy Cope. Bloody Christmas here again. Let us raise a loving cup. Peace on earth, goodwill to men, and make them do the washing up. Because they viewed Christmas as a decadent Catholic holiday, the Puritans in America banned all Christmas celebrations from 1659 to 1681, with a penalty of 5 shillings for each offence. Some Puritan leaders condemned those who favoured Christmas as enemies of the Christian religion. When I was young, I was delighted by the sight of a stocking in my bedroom. Now I'm older, it's the sight of a different kind of stocking that does things for me. In the words of Gary Allen, let's be naughty and save Santa the trip. The current Doctor, Peter Capaldi, once said, "We don't consider the Wizard of Oz or Father Christmas to be too old. They're still magical characters, and the fact that they've been around the block only adds to their magic." Have a great festive season, no matter which fictional being or beings you believe in, except Santa. He's real. I saw 3 of him yesterday. Goodbye.